Would a buyer walk because of your AI stack? If you sold your agency next year, would the buyer walk because of your AI stack? It sounds like an IT question, but it isn't. It's a valuation question, and almost no owner has ever been asked it. Moody's just warned the banks about this exact problem. Most agency owners will scroll straight past the banking story, but don't. The version that hits a 20-person agency is worse. I'll show you why, then give you the 6 questions that fix it. I'm Craig Cody, a former NYPD lieutenant and now a CPA for over 23 years and a certified tax coach. My firm works with marketing and advertising agency owners all day long, more than 70 of them every month. Before we get started, if you own an agency or you hope to one day, subscribe to the channel. I post in-depth videos covering taxes, profitability, cash flow, agency finances, and the strategies successful agency owners use to grow while keeping more of what they make. So here's the warning. The race to adopt AI has left big banks depending on a small handful of Silicon Valley providers. An outage at one of them spreads fast across customers and across whole sectors. And that small group could eventually control what AI costs. Then Moody said one more thing. They still expect AI to lower costs and lift revenue. They also expect most of that benefit to get competed away because everybody's chasing the same advantage at once. The efficiency is real, but the advantage is temporary. The dependency is permanent until you do something about it. Now here's the part that nobody quotes, and this is what makes it your problem. Moody's didn't only list risks. It listed 3 reasons banks will be fine. Read that, because that's exactly where your version breaks. 1. Banks keep control of their own data. Their core records sit in systems the bank owns. Now think about your agency, your client history, your creativity archive, your attribution data. That most likely lives inside somebody else's platform under somebody else's terms of service. 2. Banks have decades of experience negotiating technology contracts down. Lloyd's is putting £13 billion behind an AI strategy. A customer that size gets a phone call before its price change. You're going to get an email. 3. Some banks are moving to open source models. That takes engineering hours and a legal budget. It's a big company answer to a big company problem, and it isn't available to a shop of 15 people with 2 operations staff. 3. Protections. You have none of them. And I want to fix one assumption, because it's what keeps owners from acting. When people hear this, they picture an outage. That's the least dangerous version, and the outage you'll notice in 10 minutes. The other 3 are quiet. A price change you notice at renewal, a policy change that makes your workflow non-compliant, an access change that quietly kills an integration. Those you may not notice until a client asks why the report is late. Price, policy, access, availability. Only one looks like an emergency, and that's the only one that anybody plans for. So here's what I'd want. For every workflow you cannot run a business without, 6 answers written down on 1 page. Who's the primary provider? What data do they hold? Can we export it cleanly? What is the backup workflow? How long would switching take? And who owns the outage decision? Most agencies answer 4 of those in about a minute. It's the other 2 that cost real money. Can we export it cleanly? That's not a question you answer by reading your vendor's marketing page. You answer it by running the export and opening the file. A dump that loses your tags, your history, and the relationship between your records is not portability, it's just a receipt. How long would switching take? That one needs a number of days, not the word quickly. If the honest answer is 3 weeks with your delivery team pulled off client work, now you know what that relationship is actually worth. And then you can price the risk instead of just feeling it. Now back to the question I opened with, because this is my actual lane, and it's why you're hearing it from a CPA instead of your IT guy. There's a second cost here, and it doesn't show up during an outage at all. It shows up when you sell. If you're building toward an exit An operating stack with no documented exit path is a diligence finding. A buyer isn't just buying your client list, they're buying your ability to keep delivering after you're gone. And a workflow that only exists inside a vendor account you can't move is not an asset. It's a discount. When you work with over 70 agencies every month, year after year, you see the same order of events. The tool gets adopted because it works. The workflow reshapes itself around the tool. Nobody writes down what the tool now holds. And the export question gets asked for the very first time on the day somebody wants to leave. And that's the worst possible day to ask. So don't map everything. You won't finish it. Pick the one workflow that would hurt most if it stopped this week. Answer the 6 questions on one page and actually run the export. If you can't answer 3 and 5, you just found your project for the quarter. Build speed, keep options. And if you want a second set of eyes on what your stack is actually costing you, let's talk. All right, before you go, if you're an agency owner and you want to keep more of what you make, I've got 2 things for you. First, grab a copy of my book, The 12 Biggest Tax Mistakes That Cost Agency Owners Thousands. It breaks down the exact mistakes I see every day and how to avoid them. Second, if you want to see what this looks like for your business, get a free tax analysis. We'll take a look at what you're doing now and show you where you might be overpaying. And if this video helped you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future strategies on tax planning, cash flow, and building a more profitable agency. I'll see you in the next video.